Hello guys, so we are going to continue the discussion with respect to Python, and in this video we are going to talk about the most important module that is called as OOPS, where we'll be discussing about classes and objects. Now, object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm that uses objects to design application and computer programs, right? OOPS allows us for modeling real-world scenarios using classes and objects. Now, any end-to-end projects that you're specifically going to create, we really need to use classes, we need to use objects. This increases the reusability of the code. And if I talk about developing real world use cases, we will be able to use it efficiently. Like we'll be able to develop that application efficiently with the help of classes and objects. Now, to give you a basic example of class, let's see the definition of class. So class is nothing but it is a blueprint for creating objects. Okay, it will be having separate attributes and separate methods. Okay, let's say that I go ahead and create a class. Okay, so let's give a basic example over here how to create a class. We'll see this. So here we use a keyword which is called as class, and here we will give the class name. Let's say that I'm going to create a class name which is called as car. Okay, now car is nothing but it is a class. Okay, and it is a blueprint of creating objects. Now I'll show you how to create an object. Okay, so let's say that this is, I'm just writing, or I'm creating an empty car, right? Now, when I say creating an objects, right? Car may be of different type. It may be of different brand, right? So I may go ahead and create, hey, first of all, I'll go ahead and create an Audi object, right? So Audi object, it is a type of car. So I will go ahead and use the same blueprint and create this particular object, right? Similarly, I may go ahead and take a different variety of car. Let's say this is BMW, and here I may again use this as an or instantiate from this particular class, right, to create this particular object. So this is nothing but if I go ahead and print what is the type of Audi, right? So you will be able to see that if I execute this, it is nothing but it is also class, but this is exactly an object over here, right? The reason why I'm saying it as an object, because we have instantiated from this specific class, which is called as car. Okay. And similarly, you can just imagine, right, what class is. It is a real world entity. Okay. And it is also called as a blueprint. And just by using this specific car, I can create different objects, which may be using the features of this specific car, right? Like we have Audi, BMW and all. Okay. Now, let me just go ahead and probably explain more about it, because I have not still discussed about attributes and methods, which we also called it as instance variable or instance methods. Okay. So if I probably also go ahead and print this Audi. So if I go ahead and print Audi, what will I get? It will be showing that, hey, this is a car object at this specific memory location. Okay. And similarly, if I go ahead and print BMW, right? So here also you'll be able to see, yes, it is showing that, yes, it is a car object at this specific memory location, right? Now, let me just go ahead and include two more important things. Let's say I will go ahead and write instance variable and methods. Okay. Methods. Now, let me just take another class. Okay. Let's say that I'm going to create a class called as dog, right? Now, dog is a blueprint, right? And in order to define the attributes over here, right? See, one way, if I probably take this Audi and all, right? If I just go ahead and write Audi dot, let's say I want to go ahead and define one instance variable that is present inside the class. Let's say Audi has some windows, right? I will just go ahead and write 4, right? This windows is basically 4, right? And if I go ahead and print Audi dot windows, then I will be able to see that I'm able to get the answer as 4. So windows is a kind of attribute that is present inside the car. And for Audi, it may be that I may have 4 windows. For some other car, I may just have 2 windows. Like let's say that I'm taking a very smaller car over there, which is just like a Tata Nano. Okay, it may be having 4 windows, but let's say that there is a new variety of car that may have 2 windows. So I can change that particular attribute values. And this is how we specifically define, right? This is nothing but this is a kind of attributes. But initializing attributes like this is not a proper way. The reason is very much simple. Why this is not a proper way? Because see, whenever I create another object, let's say that I'm going to create another object. Let's say this will be a Tata car. And now I'll go ahead and initialize with car object, right? I'll go ahead and create this particular object. Now I may go ahead and write Tata.doors, right? So this will be my another attribute. And let's say they are around 4 doors over here, right? But if you see with respect to Audi, I did not create an attribute called as doors, whereas over here I created something called as windows. In Tata, I did not create an attribute called as windows, right? So if I go ahead and print Tata.windows, will I get anything? Let's see. So here you can see that I'll be getting an error saying that the car object has no attribute windows, right? So defining the attributes in this way is not a proper way. So I will just show you another way how we can clearly define all the attributes and methods in the first hand while we are initializing or while we are creating the objects itself, right? So I'm going to take an example with respect to dog, okay? And here there is one very important function. See, if I go ahead and write dir directory of this specific class that is called as Tata, okay? Here you'll be seeing there will be lot of different inbuilt methods, right? And each and every inbuilt methods will be doing something else, right? Now, since you can see that I have created an attribute called as doors, you'll be also able to see that this doors will be available over here, right? Inside this particular directory. I will be talking about different over here methods, right? What functionalities it usually does. But here I'm going to talk about one method which is called as underscore init underscore. Now what this method is all about? This method is called as constructor, okay? Constructor. Now what does this specific method do? So if I go ahead and write definition underscore init underscore, if initially I'm going to define any attributes, I can make sure that with the help of this particular constructor at the first hand, I'll be able to define all the attributes that will be available inside this particular class, right? Now, in order to define it, let's say in dog, right? Let's say I have two attributes over here. One is name and the other one is age, right? So while I'm initializing or while I'm creating the object from a dog class, I have to make sure that I have to give this two attributes, okay? During the runtime, I have to give these two values during the runtime when I create the object, okay? Now, the best thing over here is that this is basically my parameter, right? And internally, I will go ahead and create some instance variable. Now, this instance variable are like some kind of properties that are available inside the dog class, okay? And you know that I have to basically take this particular name and assign this name itself, because during the runtime, I'm going to put this particular value. Now, obviously I have written the same name. So the variable name is almost same. So let me just go ahead and write one more parameter, which is called as self. Okay. It is not compulsory. You always need to write self. Okay. You can write anything over here. You can write Krish. You can write your name also. But self is a keyword which we specifically use, worldwide. In terms of good practices, we use self keyword, right? Now this self keyword will be responsible, in probably accessing the instance variable inside the class itself whenever we create an object. So here what I'm going to write, I'm just going to say self.name. Now this name that you will be seeing, which is along with self.name, this name is nothing but it is my instance variable that is available inside the dog class. Okay. And this name is what is the parameter that I'm passing while creating the object. Okay. So here there are two parameters. One is self.name and the second one that I'm actually going to go ahead and write, it is nothing but self.age is equal to age. So this way I am initializing my entire class with a constructor. Now if I go ahead and create the object, okay, now let's go ahead and create the objects, right? You'll be able to see that as soon as I go ahead and write, hey, let's go ahead and create my object dog1, this will get initialized from dog, okay? And here I'm going to give two parameters. If I execute like this, it will tell me, hey, you're missing two required positional argument, name and age, because name and age is not given. As soon as I call this, what is internally going to happen is that it is going to call this constructor first, okay? Because of this constructor, it is going to take all these values that is required for the instance variable. So here I need to provide two parameters. Let's say here I will go ahead and write buddy and the age is 3, okay? Now if I go ahead and execute this print dog1, okay, you will be able to see that I will be able to create a dog object at this specific memory location. Now this instance variable is there, right? Name and age. Now let's go ahead and retrieve this dog1 dot name, and the next one is print dog1 dot age, right? So now if I go ahead and access these values, you'll be able to see that I'm able to get that value, which is called as buddy and 3, right? Similarly, I can go ahead and create any number of dogs objects, right? So I'll go ahead and write dog2, and again, I will be using dog, and I'll go ahead and give my parameters over here. Let's say I will give something like Lucy, and the age is 4, and I will be able to print the same thing over here. That is nothing but dog2 dot name, and similarly print dog2 dot age, right? So here you'll be able to see that I will be able to access this instance variable over here. Now, the best thing is that we had defined the instance variable initially in the constructor, so that we cannot create any more. You know, whatever things is defined in the constructor, only those number of instance variable itself we can create. If tomorrow I require any more instance variable, I can just go ahead and write self dot that particular instance variable, and I'll assign the value based on the parameter that I pass over here, right? So this is the best practice that we specifically use with respect to creating instance variables, right? Now let's talk about instance method, right? Now instance variable, whenever we talk about it, is some kind of properties that talks about dog, right? So over here, name and age are just like my properties for this particular dog, right? These are nothing but these are some kind of attributes, right? Similarly, there may be methods, which we also call this as instance methods. Like a dog may be barking, right? It may be doing some kind of functionalities, right? It may be running at a specific speed, something, right? So those are nothing but those are basically instance method. Now let me show you how you can actually go ahead and create the instance methods, right? So now I'm going to define a class with an instance method. So let's go ahead and define a class with instance methods. Okay. Now in order to define a class with instance method, again, I will go ahead and write class dog. Okay. Now, as you know that I will be using my init constructor. So I will go ahead and write definition underscore init underscore. Here I will use a self keyword. Let's say that there are two parameters or two features that I'm going to use, that is name and age. These are my two instance variable. I can also say it as properties, attributes, anything you can specifically talk about. But all these parameters are basically talking about this dog class itself, right? These are the properties of them, right? And this is what I'm going to pass in the runtime. Now I'll go ahead and create my properties. So I'll go ahead and write self.name is equal to name. Then I'm going to write self.age is equal to age. Okay. Now this is fine, right? Now, once I create my constructor, now I'm going to create some instance method that is related to dog. Let's say the dog will be barking, right? So, and different dog can bark in a different way. So here also I'll be using the self keyword. The reason is very simple, so that inside this method also I will be able to use this instance variable. Okay, that is the reason we provide this self keyword over here. Now I will go ahead and write print. Okay, some functionality or some print statement I will write over here, and I'll go ahead and write self.name, right? Self.name basically means the same attribute I'm calling it over here, says woof, right? So this is the sound a specific dog makes in generic. Okay, so here you can actually see over here, right? And if I probably just consider this is one of the instance method. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and create my object. Let's say that this is my dog1, and here I'm just going to call dog, and let me just give the values. Here I will be giving buddy, comma 3 is the age. Now I can use this object and call this particular function, right? Method, right? This method is nothing but it is basically called as bark. Okay, now if I go ahead and just execute this, you'll be able to see that I will be getting that print says buddy says hoof, right? Now tomorrow I want to go ahead and create my another dog 2. Okay, and let's say this dog 2 is basically having the name as Lucy. Okay, and the age is 4, right? If I go ahead and call this dog 2 dot bark, so here you will be able to see that I'll be able to see get Lucy says hoof, right? So buddy says hoof, Lucy says hoof. Now this is the function, and based on different dog types, you can just consider that the object is nothing but different dog types, right? They're using the same properties and they're using the same methods, and this will be relative to that specific object. So that is the reason over here in the definition we have clearly written as a class is a blueprint for creating objects, and it has its own attribute and methods which can be used by this objects, right? So I hope you got an idea with respect to this, and I hope you are able to understand this. Okay. Now let's design a better example for you. Okay. So here we are going to take this example, which is called as modeling a bank account. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do this. Okay. So here you'll be able to see, I will define a class for bank account. Okay. First of all, now, in a bank account, you will be able to withdraw money, you'll be able to deposit money, and you'll be also able to see the balance in the money, right? So here, first of all, how do we design this entire application with the help of classes? So I'm just going to use class with respect to bank account. Okay. It is always a good practice that you use capital letter whenever you are defining a class. Then I'm going to use my constructor, that is underscore init underscore. Let's say that what all parameters I'm going to probably give over here. One is owner information and the next is balance. By default, whenever we create an account, the balance will be 0. Okay. So by default, I'm giving some values over here. Then I will go ahead and write self.owner is equal to owner. So, and again, guys, you may be thinking, should this particular attribute be same to this particular parameter name? Answer is no, right? You can write as your own, but I'm just following the good practices that many of the developer usually follows. Then I'll go ahead and write cell.balance is equal to balance. Okay. Now here you can see that I've created my bank account. Perfect. These are my attributes, right? Owner and balance. We also call this as instance variable. Now the next thing is that I will go ahead and define my instance method. So first of all, we'll go and create one method which is called as deposit, and here I'm going to give self, and one parameter that I will give is amount. Okay. Amount is like how much we really need to deposit as the parameter I'm giving. Okay. Now, whenever I try to add money in my account through deposit, I have to probably increase my balance. Now, in order to get the excess of the balance, again, I have to use self.balance keyword plus is equal to this specific amount, right? And this is what we are basically doing with respect to the deposit function. And I will just go ahead and print and go ahead and write, hey, amount is deposited, new balance is, I'm just going to write some print statement, new balance is self.balance. Okay. Self.balance. I cannot directly use balance because this is nothing but it is an instance variable that is available over here. Okay. Now the next function that I'm actually going to create is nothing but withdraw. So I'm going to write withdraw, definition withdraw, and here I'm going to use self comma amount. Okay. And with respect to this, if amount is greater than self.balance. Okay. I'm just saying that, hey, if I'm withdrawing, first of all, I need to check whether the amount is greater than self.balance. If the amount is greater than self.balance, and if I'm trying to withdraw, then obviously this should not be allowed. And I'll just go ahead and print, hey, insufficient funds. Okay. And finally, I'll close this, right? Now, if this is not satisfied, then what I will do, I'll just go ahead and write my else condition. And this time I have to subtract it from my balance account. So I will go ahead and write minus equal to this specific amount. Okay. So I hope you are able to understand this. Now, if the amount is greater than self.balance, I'll say, hey, it is insufficient funds. But if this is not true, if the amount is less than self.balance, I should be able to withdraw it. So here you'll be able to see that I'm writing self.balance minus is equal to that specific amount. And here I will go ahead and print and say that by using an F string, say that, hey, this amount is withdrawn. Okay. New balance is self.balance, right? So this is perfect. So I've created two instance method along with that two instance variable. And finally, one more method I will go ahead and create, and you can create any number of methods. I will say, hey, get balance. Okay. And here I will again use the self keyword, and all we have to do over here is that I will just go ahead and write return self.balance. I just need to return the balance in my account. Okay. Done. Now you'll be able to see the balance, amount and all, everything is there. Now let's go ahead and create an object. So I will go ahead and create an object, Now you can perform any kind of operation that you really want. So while creating an object, I have to make sure that I create an account. So first of all, I will go ahead and write bank account, okay, which is my class. And when I call this particular bank account, I have to give two attributes, that is owner and balance, right? Owner over here is nothing but, I'll go ahead and say Krish. And initially, let's say my balance is, I am depositing around 500 rupees, okay? Or let's say 5,000 rupees, okay? Now let me just go ahead and print the account dot balance. So this is Krish account, right? So here you'll be able to see that I'm getting 5,000 rupees. Now let's say that I want to call this instance method, okay, where I want to withdraw some money. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and do some deposit. Let's say that I got my salary and my salary is 100 rupees and I've deposited it. Okay, so if I go ahead and print, or if I just go ahead and execute this, you'll be able to see that I'm getting a message saying that, hey, 100 is deposited, new balance is 5,100, right? Now let me just go ahead and withdraw some money. Let's say that I want to withdraw, account.withdraw is nothing but I want to withdraw 300 rupees. So I'll just go ahead and execute it. Now here you can see, hey, 300 is withdrawn, new balance is 4,800, right? Now finally, if I want to get the complete account balance, I should be able to just call print account dot get balance, and that is what I'm actually going to execute it. And here you can see I'm getting 4,800. So here in just front of you, I have designed the entire bank account with respect to all the operations with the help of class, instance variable, and instance method. So I hope you are able to understand this completely with respect to this particular example of bank account and all. As we go ahead, we'll be talking more about different examples, right? This is just to give you an idea how powerful these classes are, but please make sure that always make sure you keep a note of all the indentation, how to probably create it. You need to understand very much clearly that this init is nothing but it is a constructor. These are my instance variable, these are my instance methods, and I can probably go ahead and write any number of instance method that I want. And the importance of self keyword is to use this kind of instance variable wherever we want inside this particular instance method, right? Out of this class, I cannot use self keyword. That is very much clear, right? So I hope you are able to understand this entire video. So finally, I will just write some conclusion saying that what all things is important with respect to why these classes are important. So here, object-oriented programming is very much important. It allows you to model real-world scenarios using class and object. In this lesson, you learn how to create a class and objects, define instance variable and method, and use them to perform various operation, right? So yes, this was it from my side. I hope you like this particular video. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you.